What's going on, guys? Ronin here, and welcome back to the channel. You guys already know the drill already. Hit the like button, turn on notifications, and don't forget to subscribe so you'll never miss another update from the Ronin Charizard channel. But with all that being said, just take a look at the analytical stat bar, and let's get into part 6 of What If I Wrote the Pokemon Anime. I hope you enjoy. We begin today's part in the darkness of night. Jessie, James, and Meowth are deep in the Pewter Museum with special orders from Giovanni. The three have been waiting for this moment the entire day. After the success of their mission in the Viridian Gym, the trio was given a task to retrieve some more information from this museum. However, the feelings toward this mission are mixed among our terrible trio. Meowth is overjoyed as it seems the boss has finally seen the value that the Scratch Cat provides to Team Rocket, while Jessie and James have far different opinions. They feel as they're being sent on a mission that could be considered a one-way ticket if things go south. It's what Motori told them before they came here. This new research project has the most state-of-the-art security system that money could buy. Not even Team Rocket's admins were able to get into this secure facility. Now they are the ones that are tasked with trying to find a way in. This place is under 24-hour watch with live guards that do patrols every 10 minutes, Meowth tells his two human subordinates. So you twos need to get your heads out of the clouds and into the game. While James hears Meowth, Jessie is a little peeved about these demands. Why does it treat her like she's less than it? The redhead demands to know. James steps between the two in hopes of reminding Jessie of the mission, but she's seen red and slaps James with a woman's scorn, knocking him to the floor. Tired of the belittlement from the street cat, Jessie picks up Meowth by the tail and begins to slap him a bit as well. This is met by a few claws from the feline that leaves a bloody scratch across Jessie's face. At this point, Jessie is at her wit's end and she is about to end Meowth's existence, but this is halted by two lights that stop them right in their tracks. On one end, a security guard and his trusty pup Houndour, and on the other, James and his very angry Spearow as it begins attacking the trio for capturing it. The bird begins attacking everything in sight, causing the security guard to intervene with his Houndour. First, the attacks are fairly tame, with it merely biting at the intruders. But when the Spearow turns its fury on the fire dog, running it down with a wing attack, in response, a bellow of fire is spewed across the surrounding area. Now, this normally wouldn't be an issue, but because they are in a laboratory of some sort, there are tanks of highly flammable material that react to the sudden onset of heat. Meowth, Jessie, and James look with panic plastered across their faces as the tanks one by one begin to erupt, causing an explosion that rings throughout the building. The three, plus their flying doom, are caught in the blast. They are ejected skyward before slamming back down to the top of the museum. James mutters, "We got company," as his eyes focus on the group that's in front of the gym. This is where we pick up at the tail end of the last part, when our heroes, Brock and his father, are standing in front of the burning building. "Father?" Ash questions. "Wait, you know him, Brock?" "Yeah, this is my deadbeat dad, who is so good at training Pokemon, he couldn't even bother to come home and raise his kids. Even after your wife died, you still refused your responsibilities." The homeless man that comes to be known as Flint tries to address his son. Brock, but the words can't be summoned. Pathetic, Brock says. "You should just leave. I'm this town's gym leader now, and I will deal with this issue." Brock then runs off, readying 2 Pokeballs on his belt. Misty gives chase, as she knows her water Pokemon could be of some great use here. This just leaves Ash, who begins to question Flint on if what Brock says is true. "Most of it is," the old man says in a broken voice, "all except for the part of me being a great Pokemon trainer. While I did see some early success, I failed at the higher levels of competition. I tried for so long to be a trainer my kids would be proud of, but each time was met with a stench of defeat. By the time I returned home, it was too late. Brock's mother had passed away, and he had taken on the duties of the gym leader and his younger siblings. He had things so well maintained that it didn't seem like they needed me. Besides, only Brock would have remembered who I was. The rest were so young when I left that they wouldn't know me now." "Well, that's a shame," Ash says, "but it's never too late to make things right." "But it is," Flint says. "I'm only a shadow of the man that I once was." Sitting down, Flint says he has no real value to offer. "Well, I don't think that's true," Ash says. "My dad's gone a lot for work. I don't get to see him that often, but when he does come home, boy is it something special. I'm the only thing in his world. It's like he never left. But now that I'm a trainer, those moments will happen far less than they used to with me traveling. So I'm going to have to make them count. No matter how angry he may seem, I'm sure Brock wants you to be in his life. It's not too late. It's never too late. You could start now by going to help him with the problem of the museum. Flint remains silent. Well, I'm going to go help, Ash says, as he tells Pikachu they need to go. Flint is left alone to reflect on his thoughts. Arriving to help the others, Ash sees both Brock, Misty, as well as the local fire department working together to put out the flames. Ash wants to help, but is told to stay back by everyone in attendance. Thinking he knows better, Ash readies a Pokeball, only for Misty to grab his hands. Are you crazy? She says. You don't have any Pokemon that resist fire. It's suicide if you send in Nidoran or Butterfree. Ash relents, knowing she's right, but his own self-pity doesn't last for long as he begins to watch Brock in action. He's a true leader. Everyone is responding to him as he gives orders to contain the fire. Even his Pokemon are leaders among the community. It's here that Ash sees a Pokemon he hadn't before, two being commanded by Misty. This is Staryu, and according to his Pokédex, the evolution Starmie. They are both well-trained water types putting out the fire. The other is a Pokemon that is working with Brock's Onix, a Pokemon that Ash comes to know as Omanyte. Though small, it spins with the power of Onix, as it spews mud and water at the base of the building. It is at this moment Ash begins to realize just how out of his league he was in the match with Brock. He is a master of his Pokemon. They work well together, while his pathetic excuse for a team can't even stand to be around each other. Before long, the fire is out, with everyone grateful that the damage was minimal. It's here that everyone learns about the mysterious intruders and the battle that happened. Luckily, Houndour was able to protect its trainer from the explosion due to its fire typing. While everyone is discussing this, Team Rocket is now watching from the woods around the now smoldering building. James is still struggling with Spearow, trying to recall it as it keeps attacking everyone. Meowth is helping with this, telling everyone the bird is furious for being captured and won't stop. Finally, James is able to recall it with a sigh of relief, but this only applies to him. Jessie, on the other hand, has not yet lost the anger that she had from fighting with Meowth, but the target of her aggression has shifted to something new. James and Meowth try to get her attention, talking her down in a calm voice, but this is to no avail as she draws James' attention to what is in front of them. The Pikachu, she says in a calm yet terrifying voice. James knows her frustration, but still cautions her about the next move. But the redhead isn't listening, calling on her Ekans and ordering an attack. Over with our heroes, Pikachu can hear something heading their way, only to be met with the soul-piercing eyes of a purple snake. The mouse is able to barely dodge, with everyone surprised on what's happening. This is where Jessie and James make their appearance, looking rather disheveled. They begin some sort of saying that is rather annoying to listen to. Luckily, they don't have a chance to finish when the guard identifies them as the ones that attacked the museum. Before anyone could give an order, Brock sends in both Onix and Omanyte on the attack with a rock throw and a move he calls rollout. Before they know it, Team Rocket is sent horizon bound. The last thing anyone hears before they disappear is a brief cry as they fade into the night sky. Wow, Ash says, that was some power. Brock takes this moment to gloat a bit, saying his Onix is his oldest Pokemon, so it's not surprising, while Omanyte is small and full of power, so they counterbalance each other well. It's at this point Ash learns about Omanyte and that it was once a fossil Pokemon, but when the museum learned how to stabilize DNA, they were able to bring some of the fossils that they found in the protected nature preserve known as Mount Moon back to life. Omanyte was the first one revived. I was there that day, Brock says, and me and that little guy have been together ever since. This is where Ash breaks the happiness of the mood when he asks if Onix was a gift from his dad. At first, Brock says nothing, only turning. Ash, the gym will be open when you're ready to rechallenge it. Brock then disappears into the night. Way to go, Ash, Misty says, yelling at him, but Ash just stands silent, thinking. The next morning, Ash and Misty are at the Pokemon Center eating. Ash is thinking about how he's going to challenge Brock and win. Misty keeps offering her water Pokemon, but Ash sticks to his resolve of only using his Pokemon. He wants the win to be theirs, but this choice leaves his options limited, and his brain isn't the best at coming up with solutions to big problems like this. Ash is more of a doer, and he knows it. Luckily, he doesn't have to, as a familiar person enters the center. Flint addresses Ash, asking if he would like a chance to beat Brock. This gets the boy's attention, asking how he could do that. Flint says that if Ash wants to wait a win, then to meet him at the river outside of the city at noon. Then he simply walks off without another word. Misty tells Ash that he shouldn't trust him. He knows what Brock went through, so Flint can't be trusted. You know, Misty, there is two sides to every story. You should really take the time to learn both of them. With that, Ash and Pikachu leave her at the table to ponder what Ash meant by that comment. Now we follow up with our favorite spacebound knuckleheads, Jessie, James, and Meowth. Luckily for them, the Meowth head balloon wasn't damaged, so after they found their way back to Pewter City, they made their way back to the Team Rocket base just outside of Viridian City. The three stand at the door, hunched over in defeat, with a stench of failure permeating from them. All three of them are struggling to find the nerve to face the boss. This could be the final time they draw breath. No matter the reason, they have always owned up to their mistakes. So, begrudgingly, the three make their way inside. Step by step, the panic begins to overtake them as they get closer to the boss's office. James and Meowth are talking amongst themselves about Jessie and her uncontrollable temper. They are at the breaking point. Everything they have gone through in their recent missions has been because of her hot-headedness. Jessie, on the other hand, is lamenting all of the things that she has gone through. She can't believe the luck she's had as of late. There is a common factor though. These two always seem to get in her way. Yeah, that's it. The solution to my problem is doing something about those two. This is where the three separately begin to form an idea, but it will have to wait as they have reached the boss's office. With a sigh, the three push on the door to be met with the familiar sight of Mitori. She is on the phone. Yes, of course, sir, she says. Then, hanging up, she tells the terrible trio they can go. She needs nothing from them. What? They collectively say in shock. But we need to report to Giovanni about the progress of our mission, Meowth says. While writing something on a paper, Mitori says that won't be necessary. You three did exactly what you were supposed to do. Now you can go. James and Meowth are stumped. However, Jessie doesn't realize that the three just got a free pass, and her temper overtakes her again as she demands to know why they are being brushed off. Looking up over the brim of her glasses, Mitori can see that she won't be left in peace until she gives them an answer. You three were bait. Giovanni knew you would screw it up, so you were sent ahead to cause a distraction. That way, the real operatives could arrive and accomplish the mission. This doesn't sit well with Jessie, who can't accept this truth after their success of their other mission. Unwilling to take this answer, Jessie bypasses Mitori to confront the boss herself. James and Meowth watch on in horror, now confident in the decision that they have made. I wouldn't do that, Mitori says. I'm not afraid of, Jessie says as she pushes the door open, but she is met with an empty office. Wait, what? I tried to tell you, Mitori says. Giovanni is out right now. He is making appearances and checking on Team Rocket's assets. Meowth and James are relieved that they have dodged a major bullet, but Jessie, in her boiling blood, isn't satisfied seeing everything that has happened in the last 2 minutes as an insult to her. She demands to know where Giovanni is. Mitori tells Jessie she has finally lost her mind, and if she thinks she could just demand information like that, then she's got another thing coming. This comment pushes the redhead even further to the point that Meowth and James are now holding her back from assaulting Mitori. While Jessie is infuriated, Mitori finds this amusing, and she wants to see just how far this will go. So she gives in, feigning fear, giving Jessie the location of the boss. He's in Vermilion City. Jessie then turns, ordering James and Meowth to follow her. They are heading to see the boss. Now we find ourselves with Ash, as he is at the spot where Flint told him to meet. What Flint said was a river is more like a small stream. Misty has decided to tag along, more curious than anything. Ash looks on, only to see Flint standing at the base of a very old, large water wheel. Ash, are you willing to do anything to get stronger? Yes, I am, he says to Flint. Good, because that starts now. I'm going to put you through the most intense training you've had in your short time as a trainer, but I have to be willing to know, are your Pokemon willing to take the same risk that you are? Ash looks down at Pikachu, with Misty looking on in the background, questioning the methods of this madman. Pikachu looks back up at Ash, remembering the battle that it had with Onix. It was extremely one-sided, and with Ash being the first trainer that ever believed in it, it wants to do nothing but get stronger alongside of him. Pikachu nods back. The two then turn their gaze towards Flint. What do we have to do? Follow me, he says. They walk inside of the giant house that the water wheel is attached to. While it no longer works because the level of the river has subsided, it does provide some sort of use. Flint tells Ash to position himself on the wheel right outside, and when he gives the signal, he wants him to start running, turning the wheel as fast and as hard as he can. While Ash prepares himself, Flint sets up some sort of electrical wire that's attached to some sort of generator, telling Pikachu that it needs to steady itself. This is going to hurt. At the command of Flint, Ash starts running as fast as he can, turning the wheel with all of his might. Slowly but surely, electricity begins to erupt with the wires. Once the voltage meter has reached a suitable level, Flint applies the 2 electrical wires to the sacks on Pikachu's face. Slowly but surely, the current starts to build until Pikachu is overwhelmed with electricity. The yellow mouse begins to writhe in pain, but Flint tells it that it can't stop. If it wants this, then it has to continue pushing. Ash has to continue pushing. On the outside, Misty is telling Ash that he's crazy. He's hurting Pikachu. He needs to stop. But Ash says nothing, merely stealing his resolve. If Pikachu can handle it, then he will handle it. They will keep pushing together. They will become stronger together, no matter what. With this motivation, Ash puts everything he has into this wheel, turning it as if a river was pushing it. This sudden surge of electricity causes the generator to overheat, And in that moment, Flint, Pikachu, and Ash are caught in an explosion, while Misty watches the wooden house go up in flames. Luckily for her, nobody was seriously hurt. Ash was blown off of the wheel as it slowly crumbled underneath his feet, while Flint was able to make it outside just before he was engulfed in flames. He emerges from around the smoke, holding Pikachu, handing it to Ash. Flint tells Ash to take Pikachu to the Pokemon Center. It's going to need a good night's rest, but tomorrow he needs to meet him back here because his real training will begin. After a good night of recovery, Ash and Pikachu return to the riverbed where Flint stands, holding a Pokeball. We are now going to test the limits of Pikachu's electricity, and in the end, you may learn a thing or two. Flint then tells Ash to be ready as he reveals his ace Pokemon, Rhydon. Emerges from the ball is a Pokemon that Ash hasn't really ever seen before, a hulking gray, giant-sized rhinoceros Pokemon. This is my strongest Pokemon, Rhydon, a rock type, and the challenge for you and Pikachu. If you wish to beat Brock, then you will have to defeat Rhydon. Both Pikachu and Ash gulp slightly, realizing just how outmatched they are. If Brock was as strong as he is, and he's the gym leader, then Flint, being much older, must be that much stronger. But Ash is here to train, and so is Pikachu, and they won't be denied this. Stepping forward, Ash commands Pikachu to let loose a Thunder Shock. What happens next is something that Ash has never seen from Pikachu. The amount of electricity that it exudes far surpasses anything that it could do prior to what happened the day before. Pikachu is able to wildly discharge electricity in multiple directions. However, something happens. All of it is being channeled towards Rhydon as its horn begins to gather the electricity and is slowly dissipated into the body of the rock type. Wait, what was that? Ash says. That is Rhydon's ability, Lightning Rod. It draws in all electrical type attacks. So, if you guys are going to want to have a chance against my Rhydon or against Brock, then you're going to have to get your electricity to the next level, strong enough to overpower it. Fine then, Ash says. We won't back down, as he commands Pikachu to use a Thunder Shock with everything it has. This pattern repeats for the rest of the day, until Ash and Pikachu drop from exhaustion, but they refuse to give up, continuing to push forward. It comes to the point to where Flint has to tell Ash that they need to call it a day. He understands that Ash and Pikachu wants to get stronger, but there's only so much they can accomplish in one setting, so it would be best if they headed back to the Pokemon Center and got a good night's rest. He will be here tomorrow, and they can continue this exercise in fertility. With that, Ash heads back to the Pokemon Center with Pikachu in his arms, as the little mouse is exhausted, seemingly exuding all of the electricity that it could ever potentially muster in its short life. Once at the center, Ash gets Pikachu treated by Nurse Joy, while he decides to get something to eat. This is where Misty finally joins him, asking Ash if he's serious about going forward with this type of training regimen. It seems like it's pointless, but Ash seems to disagree. He can see it. It's slight, but each Thunder Shock that Pikachu let out, it was getting stronger and stronger. He knows that this is the right call, and he feels that Flint has no malicious intent here. So he's going to continue training under his directive, so that way he can help Pikachu reach a new level of power. And then he's going to re-challenge Brock and win that gym badge. Misty again tries to be a voice of reason, telling Ash that he doesn't really know Flint that well, so he should exercise caution. But Ash tells Misty he understands the risks. However, Flint has done nothing but try to help him since they got to Pewter City, so he doesn't see any reason to doubt him at this point. But he does have one favor that he would like to ask of Misty. He then hands over the Pokeballs of both Nidoran and Butterfree. He asks her if she wouldn't mind spending some time with them. He wants them to be able to get some fresh air as well. They don't have to train, just being able to be out in the open while him and Pikachu are trying to learn its new level of power. That way, that Nidoran doesn't have to freak out with Pikachu being around. I know it's still an issue that needs to be addressed, but it's something that we're going to have to work on over time. It won't be fixed overnight. At least if it's playing with you and your Pokemon, then it'll have a safe space for it to kind of just be itself, and I think that will be the best thing for it at this time. Misty is a little bit taken aback by this, but she understands where Ash is coming from, so she agrees to help with this task for the time being. Over the next week, Ash and Pikachu make daily treks to the riverbed, battling with Flint and his Rhydon. Little by little, the two are getting stronger. It eventually gets to the point to where Pikachu is able to break the large boulders that sit on the bed of the ancient river with its Thunder Shock with relative ease, and it's now being able to keep up with Rhydon, causing some damage with its basic normal type moves like Quick Attack. So Ash is beginning to feel a little bit confident. On the 7th day, Flint turns to Ash and he says, I think you've learned all you can from me about your Pikachu's electric type attacks, but there's still one thing I feel like Pikachu can learn. It is at this moment that Rhydon's tail begins to glow with a metallic hue. And this is where we are going to leave things for now. So tell me, what did you guys think about this part? What was Team Rocket after in the Pewter Museum? Why is Giovanni in Vermilion City? Also, have you guys been paying attention to the Pokédex? Let me know in the comments down below. Alright trainers, grab your Pokédexes, cause today we met Houndour, Rhydon, Starmie, and Omanyte. And that's all we have for today's episode, everyone. I really hope you guys enjoyed it, and I really hope that you guys will consider hitting the like button and turn on notifications. Don't forget to subscribe as well, so that way you'll never miss another upload from the Ronin Charizard channel. If you guys are interested in other things, why don't you hop on over to Twitter and follow me there? Sometimes I drop behind the scenes stuff that I'm working on in real time. Or you can head over to my Discord where you can possibly get some help with some of your own projects that you're working on. If you guys are feeling a little bit extra generous and you want to help the channel grow, why don't you consider becoming a YouTube channel member or backing me on Patreon? For only $5 a month, you can get up to a week's early access to all of my content, and you'll be helping the channel grow. Not to mention, you'll get exclusive content that I'm putting on those two platforms that aren't available on regular YouTube. With all that being said, it's time to sign out the video the best way we know how, by thanking the patrons and the YouTube channel members. For the Shogun tier, we have Azlite, Chris Lackerman, Christian Anderson, Dylan Nicholson, Forbidden Super, Gear 100, Gray Leo, Holosiv, Indigo Saturn 64, JJ, John Larson, Cronus 4i, Robert, Treeman, Trent Trolls, Vegito What Ifs, Warney Taylor. For the general tier, we have Adrian Carr, Andrew McCartney, Assassin 139, Cameron Dicker, Cami Stein, Chris Collins, Dylan Silva, plus Ultraman, Dino King, Dylan Wolfdog 31, Earth Dragon, Ifosa Mead, Flyer 943, Fox King, Gerald Smith, Irving 14209, Jack, Johnny, Jody Juster, Josiah Herring, Julian Rodriguez, Justin Ray, Kendall Green, Kevin Atran, Kevin Malula, Lord Explosion Murder, Luke Skyrunner, Mario Pikachu, Megar, Nick Riviero, Normandy 1998, Pokemon Master 123, Ruben Watson, Silverheart Soul, Stephen Foot, Trainer Rad 164, True Volt, Yasai. And for the Ronin tier, we have James Baldridge Jr. and Just Some Guy 23. For the YouTube channel members, on the Ace tier, we have Nathan Zadro, and for the Ronin tier, we have Brandon Hernandez and Hira Karina, Gouffet 7_69, Robert Ostergaard, and T Bolt for you. Thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.